And I do have copies of the park rules and regulations. And he was just about 2 or 3 feet ahead of us when I noticed another dog, German Shepherd, come off to the side, start sniffing around. That's usually how they say hi. They sniff each other.
Okay, so this is a large dog that...
Okay, now we're starting to record. Hi guys, it has been such a long time since I made a video. What we're gonna do today is we're gonna do a tour of Etheria, and I'm gonna go through each map and I'm gonna rate it out of 10 on, like, you know, aesthetics, invisible walls, and just general gameplay, how it works, you know, how fast the waves are, and we'll give it an overall score. And we're gonna go through like the main campaigns and probably a couple like extra special ones. But I wanted to do this because I thought it'd be really fun. And what was I gonna say? Oh, we need to we're gonna be on Summoner so we can get like to extra places, extra high places. But she needs to look the part. So no. Ooh, that's kind of cute. Oh wait, I kind of like that. Okay, we'll do that. We're gonna take Libra and we're gonna go into a private match and we're gonna get started. So I gotta, damn it, don't look. Okay, some of the things that I came up is, oh, okay, so our categories are going to be invisible walls, so like how much can you actually move around the map. Ooh, excuse me. And creativity, you know, the design of the map and things like that. I also want to insert a gameplay tab, or what's the word for that? A gameplay scoring area. Yeah, so there's going to be 3 scores. There's going to be invisible walls, creativity, and gameplay. And so each of those things are going to be 3 points out of 10. And the extra point is if it's my favorite or not. So it gets a 10 out of 10 if it gets all of that, okay? Anyway, let's go. We are going to start with the classic Deeper Well. And this is like everything. Creativity goes into music, everything. Okay, so we have some creaking. I see, yes. Okay, very interesting. The remnants of iHavy. So we got some nice sparkles. We got some nice light coming through here. It's very pretty, you know, it really does sparkle, it really does shine a bit. You know, for when this game came out, I think these are pretty decent graphics. It really gives you the feel of being, you know, underground in like almost a half magical area. I really like this, you know. Maybe some of the graphics here, like this light, looks a little one-dimensional, is that the word for it? But I mean, it works. I don't feel unimmersed by it, you know. I like this general look. I would say invisible walls. Let's do some invisible wall testing. Like, can we get up here? Oh, do a couple flat. No, we can't get up there. Okay. Ooh, I was gonna say, if we can't get on that barrel, that's pretty bad. Oh, okay. What about this rock? I think the invisible wall is going to be a little low because there's not really a lot of terrain we can jump on, but I'm going to give it some space because it is supposed to be a well. Gameplay wise, I know that this is a very good map. I think it's very balanced for what it offers. You know, let's get some mobs going here. I think it offers very balanced gameplay. You know, there's this like main skirmish area where everything goes down and 2 main chokeholds. Very easy. It's a great starter level, you know, and then up here adds that extra challenge, which is good. I would say overall this probably hits I would say 9 out of 10. I would give this map a 9 out of 10, mainly because it lost a point on the invisible walls because you can't really get anywhere, but you know, full creativity, full gameplay, and it's one of my favorites. I always come back to it. You know, it's classic, it's great, and even the goblins love it too. So yeah, I would say it really gets its 9 out of 10. Let's go on to the next map. All right, next we have Foundries and Forges, the second map in the campaign. Already very good color, love it. It's like glowing with all the different kinds of colors. Let's see, it gives very dungeon feel, you know, like with these rusty old pipes and these chains hanging from the ceiling. Why are these chains here? Actually, now that I think about it, why are there so many chains? Oh, the steam coming off, that's good too. The torch ambience. The furnaces, yeah, this really gives like forging, like with lava and these cages too. This is just like a whole vibe. This is getting 3 out of 3 for creativity. It's great. It's uniform. It has like great design to it. I love it. Let's check some invisible walls. You know, can we get on these pipes? Ooh, yeah, I don't think so. That's pretty disappointing. We can get up here though. I don't know why that's there. That's pretty unimmersive, to be honest. Where else can we get? I know we can get through there. Oh, let's try to get on one of those cages. God, fucking burping. I'm having an energy drink. Can we get on this cage? Okay. Invisible walls is a little lackluster here. There's not much. I'm putting invisible walls in the rating because it's important that the map feels like a place you can explore, you can run around in, because you're going to be here for long waves. You're going to want to jump around spots while you're talking with your friends, you know. That's why it's important. I would say, oh, what about this one? No. Okay, well, let's move on to gameplay. I know that this map is notorious for being long, and you know what? It kind of drives me crazy, this map does. I think it has a good design because it invites a lot of different tower strategies, you know, making how many chokeholds do you want to make? Do you want to make 3 chokeholds? Do you want to make 1 chokehold? What do you want to do? And the way the mobs split is good. You know, they have less mobs coming here. They have most of the mobs coming through here. I think it's very well designed. However, the pacing of the map is really slow. And as we all know in Dungeon Defenders 1, how fast you complete a map is important to how much XP you get. So I'm gonna have to give it probably like I'll give it a 2 when it comes to gameplay. I don't want to penalize it too much because it has good design. It invites good, you know, strategy and things like that. Especially for, you know, the first couple maps. I mean, it's good. Let's see. Next up, we have Magus Quarters. This is one of my favorites, so it's already getting a favorite point. I will be honest. It's one of my favorites. I love this map. It's so memorable. When I started playing this game, I was like 10 or 11 on my brother's computer, and he would always fight, and so he'd stop me from getting on his computer. But anyway, let's get to the map. Gorgeous, literally gorgeous. All the different kinds of complementary lights. It looks so good. The complicatedness of, you know, all the different areas to get up to the crystal, I think is good. This is where we're introduced to wyverns, which come here. I will have to take off a point because the wyverns kind of just spawn from nowhere, which is, you know, it's not very good. I don't really like that. It's not immersive. I love all the little details here, you know, all the little books and the little chairs. Like, you could really see, like, you know, Ethereans coming in and studying, or like the wizards, because this is where the Grand Magus studies. You could see him sitting down and actually studying. It's really cool. You know, the chests are in a spot that's, you know, that rune makes it seem like the chests are powerful. The mana is the source of your power. I remember I always used to think that these were staffs when I was like 10 and I tried to pick them up. Yeah, overall, I think this is a great map. Creativity, I will say 2 out of 3. I gotta take points off for the wyverns, you know. It's not immersive. They come out of nowhere. I think that's dumb. I would say invisible walls. Let's do some checking really quick. We'll see, you know, I think it's great that you can hop up here. Let's see if these walls are standable. No, they're not. You know how cool it would be to stand up here, bro, and watch, you know, the mobs die? Like, it's so lame that you just fall through that. Like, they should have just taken the extra day to, you know, I don't know, code that in or whatever. Let's see, where else can we get? It's not, oh, this is good design as well. If you're stuck down here and you need to rush back up. I'd noticed that. That's good design. There's not much to jump on, really. So I'm not going to deduct points if it's really, you know, designed to just be walls necessarily. But I think the biggest thing is it's going to lose points for this, because this is pretty ridiculous. I will say, though, when this map was created, there was only the 4 main heroes who could only jump, so you would never know that you couldn't get up there. So I realize I should probably, you know, step back a little bit. I'm still gonna take a point off though, because this game has existed with more heroes than it has existed with only the 4 heroes, if that makes sense. So I think I'm still gonna take that point off. But again, one of my favorites, so it gets my favorite point. Yeah, when it comes to gameplay, I hate to say it, it's losing a point. This is another very slow map. It takes forever to complete. It's so annoying, but these 3 main choke points are really nice. It's really satisfying to just mow them down here. I think it's pretty good gameplay wise. I don't really have anything to deduct besides how slow it is. It's insane. There's nothing less satisfying than trying to grind a map and the waves take 10 minutes. You know, it's like, bro, just give me like really fast waves. Next, we have the Alchemical Laboratory. I really like this map as well. It's not really one of my favorites, to be honest. This is where we're introduced to the boss for the first time. I think this map has some pretty good invisible walls because you can get up here. Fuck, if I burp one more time, I'm gonna scream. You can get to some places up here. It's kind of nice. I don't really see a lot of issues with the invisible walls. You know, I think it's pretty good overall. I think there's some good detail with the little potion shelves, the tables with all the chemicals and crafts or whatever, you know. I think it's very good. I think this map design right here, I think this is very creative, having this extra boss element that shocks the shit out of the boss. I think that's very creative, a good map design element. Overall, I think this is a great map. I don't really have anything to say necessarily. I think it gets full points for creativity, you know. It's very interesting that this is one of the spots in the castle, because as you know, we're going from the bottom of the castle to the top, the rooftop to the castle. So I think it's very interesting. This is an interesting room to add into Etheria's castle. Gameplay wise, I think it's perfect. I don't see any problems with this map. I know that it is a little bit slow, but I'm not going to take a point off because it is a boss map, and I think that you need that extra time to prepare for the boss. I'm not really thinking about it in terms of survival, but I think this gets full points. No notes really. It's not my favorite though, so it's getting 9 out of 10. Let's go to the next one. Servants' Quarters. Already, it gets a favorite point. Love this map. So good. Okay, already off the bat, all the really cramped corridors. It's very claustrophobic, and you do kind of clip your character, which is pretty bad. I will have to take a point off for that. But at the same time, it's like, what could they do about this? But I do have to take a point off for it because it's like, you're always going to be seeing the inside of the map no matter where you're going. And that it's just not attractive. So it's getting 2 out of 3 for creativity. I have to take that off. Or I could probably take that off for invisible walls. Whatever, it's losing a point regardless. But overall, all the elements, like this is where the servants prepare the food for the royalty. Their little beds on hay, their little drinks and their mugs. They got a window for some morale boosting. It's very like, when you play these maps, you don't really stop to see all these different details, but it really looks like, you know, a cramped, cheap servants' quarters where they come after doing their duties. And I like the little details with the colorful food and stuff. I really love, for the gameplay aspect, that this is the wizard corner, and it's very unique in how you need to set up your defenses here, because this is always a problem point when you're just starting out. You don't have very good gear. This is good design too. It really makes you think, especially when you're first starting out, like, are they gonna walk here? It's just overall, it's very good. It's very open, weirdly at the same time, but cramped. This is a little death pit down here. Love that. I think it adds that risk to it, that extra danger. You never really get a chance to like look down here because this is like the arena, the death arena. You can get some like cannonballs going down here. It's crazy. It gets really wild. Overall, I think this is a great map. 3 out of 3 for creativity. Gameplay, 3 out of 3. It loses a point for the invisible walls because you're always clipping through them. It's not good. There's not really a point to make about what you can stand on, because it's just supposed to be, I believe you can actually stand on those up there. I forgot how to get up there. I see the beer kegs and there's still stuff up there. That's good. They didn't leave that out. One of my favorites as well. So this is getting a 9 out of 10. You guys may disagree with me. That's okay. Gameplay, we already went over. I think this map is the first map that really makes you like want hero speed, because you're always constantly checking. You're like, oh my god, what's happening here? oh my God, what's happening over here? And you're running around trying to figure it out, worried about all the million mages that are just standing in the spawn point. Yeah, no notes. I think this is great. Definitely one of my favorites. Let's go on to the next one. Sorry, I had to get another energy drink. I am like on an energy drink binge. I have been gone for a while because of like the finals that I have to do, and I am so exhausted. But this is kind of my free day, and I wanted to make a video because I haven't in a while. You know, I got a new haircut, got this new shirt, kind of looks like I'm gonna go golfing. But anyway, let's go to the next map. Ooh, the Castle Armory. Gorgeous. Ooh. Trying to watch my swearing. I think there was one video on the analytics where I swore like 6 times per minute. That's ridiculous. Anyway, this is a vital addition to the Etheria Castle because, you know, it's a castle. This is, I would guess, technically medieval times. You know, you're gonna have knights and stuff. You're gonna have swords, shields, training for your coming up soldiers. This is a very vital part of the castle. There's a lot of glow here with all the light. I don't really know why there's light coming from a black hole. That doesn't really make sense. It kind of is just annoying. I think overall is pretty nice. I think it reuses a lot of elements from other maps. You know, it's just the same stone walls, the same carpets, the same little sword and shields or axe and shields. I really love this right here. I think I know it's really simple, but I think it's immersive. It was always fun to die on these things when you did die, besides from it being so frustrating. Okay, these windows are actually really distracting. I do have to take a point off for that. It is way too much. I mean, if you're playing on low settings, I guess it won't really bother you, but I would say 2 out of 3 for creativity. I almost want to say 1 out of 3. It's like, this map doesn't really wow me. And it's a little disappointing. It's like comfy, but I'll keep it at 2 out of 3. You know, I won't go too low. Again, it's starting to get disappointing that there's not much room to, you know, stand on stuff. There's not much room to really bounce around, which I think is pretty disappointing. But it does have good layers and depth with, you know, all the different floors. So I'm going to keep invisible walls to 3 out of 3. I'm not going to deduct points because of all this depth. I think it's great. It adds texture to it. When it comes to gameplay, I think it's perfect. I think the way it's designed, it invites creativity to how you are placing your towers. It gives you, like, you know, do you want them to be kind of out of the fray, or do you want them to be blockading? How are you going to deal with this really tight 2 corners? How are you going to deal with this ogre door? I think it invites a lot of creativity, especially with this little unique overpass, you know, with those boards. I'd say it's pretty good. It's not getting a favorite point. It's losing a point for creativity. And so that's putting it at a strong, I believe, 8 out of 10. Maybe a 7 out of 10. I'll have to do the math in the editing of the video. But let's go on to the next one. How much caffeine is in this shit? All right, next we have the Hall of Court. This map always gave me anxiety for some reason. I don't know why. What is that? What is that? Why did my eyebrow do that? I never noticed that. Anyway, we have here next the Castle Hall of Court. The Hall of Court. I think this gets a 3 out of 3 for creativity. It's the first map where you actually start to reach into the outside of the castle, and I think it's gorgeous. I think for the time of the game, I think these are good graphics. You know, they have the cherry trees, they have the little extra details of the target practice. I do have to take off a point for invisible walls right here, because you should be able to go in there. I think that's ridiculous. You know, even if you were the monk and you only had a single jump, that's pretty bad. But, you know, I think overall really good details. I think it's immersive in the way that it's cozy. You know, it kind of blends inside and outside. This great big tree stretching into the sky, I think that's cool. I think the statues of the heroes, I think never realized that he had a carrot for a nose. I never realized. I was about to say these statues are beautiful, and then I'm like, what is this? It's still pretty. I still like it. Gorgeous. Love it. You can fall off here, which I think is good, actually. It makes you watch your step. I like that. I don't like when maps try to hold you in to the gameplay area. Like, it should feel like oh, this is a real livable place. In here, I think this is great. You know, when gameplay starts, this is like, it's another death arena, and it forces you to, you know, strategize again, you know, maybe put auras in here instead of just blockade tower, you know, utilize the monk, or the huntress, you know, her stealth ability. There's a lot of great points of where you can incorporate creativity, and the wyverns do come from the actual air, which is good. So it's getting 3 out of 3 for gameplay. The throne room is completely classic. I don't know what I'm at for time, actually, but I want this video to be like 30 minutes long, and it's 30 minutes long. Okay. This map, I do really like this map. You know, as I'm kind of revisiting it, it's kind of a letdown in a way. It doesn't really make sense that we went from outside back to inside. If I had to be an ass about it, I think having the throne room as a map is a good idea. The colors are good. I like the split between the two, splitting the map in half. When it comes to invisible walls and, you know, overall map design, I think it's about the same as the others. You know, there's not really much to jump on and, you know, explore with. It's kind of it has a lot of bells and whistles, like with this scenery, these details, these glass window panes. It looks really good. Like, they did spend a lot of care and time in this, you know, like it's like they were imagining, you know, how would the people of Etheria walk through here, the space that they would need, the details with the carpet and things like that. It's good. I think it will get a 2 out of 3 for creativity. I'm leaning to 1 out of 3 for creativity, just a bit. I mean, it's a little on the nose. Invisible walls, it's fine. I don't know. I kind of want to give it a 2 out of 3 for invisible walls. I'm not too impressed, like, with the general, you know, texture of this place. When it comes to gameplay, I think gameplay is a bit stale here too, and it doesn't stand out to me. You know, it's just okay. It's just like, it's like the same setup, you know, just copy and pasted, which I guess, I mean, it makes sense. It's just not, you know, it doesn't blow me away. It's like, just, it's okay. Plus, you are cutting through this, which I didn't realize in my invisible wall take, but overall, I would say it's losing a point for invisible walls. It's losing a point for creativity. It's not my favorite. Gameplay, I think it's losing about 4 points. I think this is one of the weakest maps in the arsenal. Next map we have is the Royal Gardens. Gorgeous map, already off the bat. This is when the game starts to feel, this is where the tension starts to like ramp up in the story, because you're getting closer and closer and closer to that dragon. This map I already know is getting a 3 out of 3 for invisible walls, because there's no clipping, you see here, at least not much. You can jump a lot of places. I believe, I don't want to bite my own tongue here, but I believe you can get up. Oh, you can't. I really thought you could get up there. Anyway, I do want to give it a 3 out of 3 for the invisible walls aspect, because there is a lot to jump on. There is a lot to, you know, kind of bounce around with. You know, you can fly through here. It's very dynamic. Gorgeous map. Creativity, 3 out of 3. You know, I think it's a basic concept, but I think it was executed very well. I think the first time you encounter this, it's really confusing, because you think, wait, where are they coming from? I think the gameplay is very good here, actually. The way the mobs disperse. You know, you have a lot going on here for almost the first time. You have these mobs coming through. You have wyverns that come through here. It's mixing a lot of different enemies. It really invites you to start thinking more critically about what you want to do with your towers, because, you know, right here, your towers are at a clear weak point. Right here, there's not much room for the enemies to disperse. They kind of just get like bottled up here. You know, you could totally see, especially with like the low range, you could see the mages and the archers just kind of like hiding here while the orcs pile up and destroy your towers. It really invites you to think, you know, how can I do this? This is a tougher map. How can I do this? Texture is great. Good water. Love the rockiness, love the vines coming out of it. It's immersive, and you know, the sky looks pretty gorgeous. It really is a good, it's like opening your eyes after being in the dungeons for so long. Beautiful fountain, nice cute little houses, almost like apartments in a way, but they're probably not. Yeah, gorgeous. Let's see the mobs run through here quick. I would say it's getting full points in every category. I'd say this is the first 10 out of 10 map. Great design. I don't really have anything to nitpick here. Maybe that if I had to. Yeah, I think this is good. I'm not really. 3 different crystals, that's part of it. Yeah, let's go on to the next one. Next, we have another one of my favorites, the Ramparts. I think this is such an influential map because it's where you grind to 70 for the first time, or when you learn that this is the map that you can grind. This is also, you feel the tension rising with the storytelling, like you're getting higher and higher and higher in the castle. If you really think about it, it starts to not make sense because you're like, wait, this looks like the top of the castle. So, you know, when you think of the Endless Spires, you think of the summit, like where is that? But, you know, it is an older game. They didn't have the resources to, you know, have a mile-long castle. But look at that. I mean, it's fucking gorgeous. It's fucking gorgeous. You got the golden water, you got ships in there, you got the mountains, you got the sunset. It's like, oh, it's like, bro, that is gorgeous for 2011. That is fucking gorgeous. Look at that shit. Screenshot, baby. Desktop wallpaper. Not really, but it is gorgeous. I think the additions of the harpoons, I think that's good storytelling as well. You know, hints at what you're gonna have to do with the dragon. Invisible walls, 3 out of 3, baby. Because being able to get up here, like actually on the rooftops, and like, you know, maybe putting in a tower here, it really makes you feel like, ooh, I have some space to work with, you know? I think the all the diversity, and you know, we have this cramped area. It's kind of dungeony right here in a way, and then a really open, like this is the ogre walkway. You start to see some of the damage probably from the dragon, as you know, he's been terrorizing Ethereans. Very good design. You know, you feel like you're really in a real place in a way. It doesn't feel like, oh, it's just another map. You know, it stands out, especially with all the red. It adds like the different colors. I think they did a really good job with that. I think I do want to take a point off because I feel like you should be able to get up. Yeah, like look at this, bro. I know this was designed with the 4 heroes in mind, but it's kind of like you could totally get up there as one of the 4 heroes, bro. I feel like you should be able to get up there. I think they put all their points in this gorgeous view over here, so I don't want to be too hard on it, but it's gonna lose a point for invisible walls. I think that's pretty bad. It's very good though. You know, I don't want to be too hard on it. Anyway, let's see the mobs run through here. Let's see their pathing. Yeah, you could totally get up there, bro. Oh, yeah, very interesting. It's like they're coming from such odd angles. It really does make you think. Yeah, this bridge concept is good. Great map, I think. Overall, probably an 8 to 9 out of 10. I'm not really sure if it's one of my favorites now that I think about it, you know? But let's go on to the next one. This is the second to last map, the Endless Spires. And it's very gloomy in a good way because it's like final climax is about to come. You know, the dragon, it's getting dark, it's getting dreary. You have some kind of foreshadowing going on with, you know, the tension increasing. Is that foreshadowing? I'm actually not sure. I think how much that you can, you know, really dig into this map, like you can go all the way back here. It's like there's so much to run around with. I think, yeah, I don't really have many notes here. I think maybe it could lose a point for, you know, all of this drab, like just stretch of walls. I don't think it's very creative in that sense, but I think it is supposed to be gloomy. I think it's supposed to be bare. I think it's supposed to be beaten up, you know. I think I will take a point off for creativity. You know, it's too bare. There's not much going on here. They're reusing the rampart elements. They are trying to connect it, you know, I get that. Overall, it's okay. I don't really have much to say here. It doesn't really stand out besides its gloominess. There's not much to do with the invisible walls here. I don't think there is much exploration, you know. when it comes to the gameplay, I think it actually is good gameplay because it really teaches you, it's like you have one big choke point, which you don't really see in the earlier maps. They really kind of spread you out, but like this is your dojo, this is your domain. You got boom, you got boom, you got boom. That's it. And besides the wyverns, of course, it's like this is your area. This is where you survey all the goblins and orcs. Yeah, like, and I really do agree with taking a point off for creativity, because like, what is there to like really look at here? Like, where are the details? Where is anything? You know, it's just, it's a castle. I mean, those statues are cool, but you know, not a favorite. Point off for creativity. I'm not sure about invisible walls. I'll have to think about that when I edit back, but gameplay's fine. I would say it's probably an 8, probably a 7 out of 10. I really think so. And now what you've all been waiting for, the summit. Oh, it's such a good map. Already 10 out of 10. I'm spoiling it. This map is so fucking gorgeous. It's designed so well. It's perfect. The finale of this game is perfect. I really don't have any notes here. Like invisible walls, you know, you want to explore, you want to really get in there. Look at this. Look at all this hopping around you can do. You know, great map interaction, you know, having that mechanic with the boss, of having to stun him so he spawns at these interesting points. The perfect amount of like claustrophobia mixed with death pits, mixed with, you know, more open areas. I would call this a more open area because this is like, when you play this map, you really are down here quite a bit trying to manage this area. It is, you know, this is the ogre where they come in, the ogres come in. Love these grates, love the faux danger of falling in here while you're trying to get one of these fucking chests. One of the details I want to go in, let me zoom in so you guys can get a better look. Rain, 10 out of 10. It's kind of sucks that you can't see it when you look up, but it adds that atmosphere to it. But you know, the ways the walls drip with the rain and it's like all coming off in these little, what did you call it, splashes? The way these gargoyles or these statues are just like, it's like they're breathing fire of light. It's so ominous. And you can even stand up here, bro. Look at this. They really encourage you to like explore, go around the map. It's just so good. Really, it is the 10 out of 10. It is one of the best maps. They did so well. There's creativity design. You know, do you want to put a tower here facing this? Where do you want your projectiles to go? There are usually orcs that get stuck here sometimes. And I would take a point off, but I just love the map too much. I don't want to. I will try to put in a clip of the Ender Dragon, because not the Ender Dragon, what am I talking about? I'm gonna put that in anyway. So gorgeous. Love it. And this video is gonna be so long. I think I'm gonna have to end it here. Overall, let me know in the comments what you guys thought was your favorite map. Give me your ideas, give me your opinions. Do you think my ratings of these maps was good? It was really fun to do this and I enjoyed it. I hope you guys enjoyed too, and I will see you later. Oh, excuse me.